My wife was missing. I found her tied up downstairs. My daughter did it. When I pulled into the driveway, I had that strange, uneasy feeling you get before you even understand why. The house looked normal. Lights off, curtains still. My wife's car parked exactly where it always is. But the moment I stepped inside, it felt empty in a way that didn't make sense. Her purse was on the counter. Her keys were in the bowl. Her shoes by the mat. All the signs she was home, yet no sign of her. I called out, thinking maybe she was in the shower or on a call. No response. The silence felt heavy, like something pressing on my chest. I checked the backyard, the bathroom, our bedroom. Nothing. Then, as I passed the hallway, something made me freeze. The basement door was closed and locked. We never locked that door. There's nothing dangerous down there. And if it ever did get locked, it would be from the inside. Not the outside. But the bolt was slid in place. I don't know why, but I whispered her name even though I knew she couldn't answer through a door. When there was no sound, I pressed my ear closer, holding my breath. Nothing but still air. My hands started shaking as I reached behind the kitchen drawer for the emergency key we taped there years ago. I fumbled with it like I'd never used a key in my life. Finally, I got the lock undone, swung the door open, and was hit with a stale, suffocating smell. And then I heard it. A thin, cracked whisper that barely sounded like a person. "Please?" I ran down the stairs, nearly slipping, and there, crumpled on the cold concrete, was my wife, Mia. Her hair stuck to her face with sweat. Wrists chafed raw from zip ties someone had cut but not removed. Her eyes, red and swollen, stared at me like she wasn't sure I was real. You came back," she breathed. I fell to my knees beside her. "What happened? Who did this to you?" She swallowed, voice trembling. "Lily, our daughter." I carried Mia upstairs, sat her gently on the couch, and wrapped her in a blanket. She clung to me like she was afraid I'd disappear if she blinked. When she finally stopped shaking long enough to speak, the words came out in fragments. She pushed me, hard, down the last step. I hit the floor. Before I could get up, she zip-tied my wrists. Her fingers trembled as she traced the angry red marks. I tried to process it. Our daughter, our straight A, rule-following, kind-to-a-fault daughter. Why? Why would she do that? Mia's eyes filled with tears. She said I ruined everything, that I was lying to you, that I didn't deserve to be in this family. My head spun. Lying about what? That's the thing, she whispered. None of it made sense. She said she heard me confess something through the vents, something I never said. She kept insisting I admitted it. But I never said anything. Mia wiped her eyes, but her hands were still trembling too badly to stop the tears. She dragged the shelf across the stairs, locked the door, and then she said, her voice cracked. She said you'd understand, that once you found me, you'd choose her. I felt sick. Our daughter believed she was doing something righteous, necessary. She left me there, Mia whispered. And when I begged her not to, she said I needed to think about what I'd done. But I haven't done anything. I took her hand gently. I know. But in the back of my mind, a darker thought clawed up. What if Lily wasn't just angry? What if she believed something that wasn't real? Something her mind created? Mia leaned against me, exhausted. She wasn't herself. Her eyes, they looked empty, cold. I barely recognized my own daughter. I tried to comfort her, even though my hands were shaking too. But I knew I needed answers, and there was only one place to get them. Lily's room. Her room was exactly as she kept it. Bed neatly made, laptop closed, clothes put away. But something about the neatness felt staged, like she'd tidied it deliberately, not normally. When I opened her desk drawer, I found it. A blue journal with stickers on the front, and her handwriting saying, "Private, don't read." I sat on the edge of her bed, bracing myself, and opened it. The first few pages were normal entries: school stress, friends, typical teenage things. Then the handwriting changed. It grew sharper, more frantic. Words slanted, sentences repeated. "Dad will see the truth." "She's lying again." "I know what I heard," she confessed. "Mom ruins everything." My chest tightened. Page after page described an argument Mia and I supposedly had. One Lily claimed to have heard through the vents. According to her, Mia told someone on the phone she didn't love me, didn't want Lily, and planned to leave us. None of that ever happened. We were at a restaurant that night. We had photos, receipts, memories. But in Lily's journal, that night was the moment everything fell apart. She described it in detail: Mia's tone, the exact words she heard, how betrayed she felt. It was like reading someone else's memory, except it was pure fiction, delusion, fear written like fact. I closed the journal, shaking. My daughter wasn't acting out of anger. She was acting out of a terrifying conviction that she was protecting me. Then I heard the front door open. My heart dropped. She was home. I walked out of her room, gripping the journal, trying not to let her see how shaken I was. When I reached the living room, Lily was standing there, smiling like she'd just come back from getting ice cream. "Hey, Dad," she said brightly. "You're back early." My wife, trembling on the couch, flinched at the sound of her voice. Lily didn't even glance at her. "Where have you been?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. "Out, thinking. I figured you'd be home soon." She tilted her head. "We should talk. Alone. Before Mom tries to rewrite everything." I stepped in front of Mia. "Lily, your mother told me what happened." She didn't deny it. She didn't shrink. She didn't panic. "Good," she said. "Oh, then you understand why I had to do it." Mia whimpered behind me. Lily didn't react. "Lily," I said carefully, "you locked your mom in the basement." "She needed time," Lily whispered. "To reflect, to stop lying." I swallowed hard. "Lying about what?" Her eyes darkened. "You know." "I don't," I said gently. "Tell me." She clenched her jaw. "The phone call, the confession, the night she said she never loved you. I heard her, Dad. She said it." My throat tightened. "Sweetheart, that never happened." "Yes, it did," she snapped, tears springing to her eyes. "You just didn't hear her. But I did. And I had to protect you." Mia whispered, "Lily, honey." "Stop talking," Lily screamed, and the sound tore through the room. That was when I knew. My daughter wasn't angry at her mother. She was terrified of a threat that didn't exist. And that made her dangerous. She grabbed her backpack and headed for the door. "I'll come home when you're ready to listen," she said softly. Then she walked out, and the moment the door clicked shut, I knew what I had to do next. I watched the door long after she disappeared. My wife was crying into her hands, whispering, "What did I do? What did I do?" And the worst part was, I didn't have an answer. I didn't know what part of Lily's mind had snapped, or when we'd missed the signs. But I knew she needed help, Immediate, professional help. With shaking fingers, I called emergency services. My daughter is having a psychiatric episode, I told the operator. She zip-tied her mother and locked her in the basement. She's delusional. Please, please send someone. My voice broke on the last word. They found her an hour later, sitting on a bench near the river, hugging her backpack like a shield. When the officers approached, she didn't argue. She just asked one question. Is my dad safe? It nearly crushed me. They escorted her to the hospital, and I followed in my car, hands trembling on the wheel. A psychiatrist met with us, reviewing her journal, her behavior, her statements. He spoke with this calm, steady certainty that made the truth sting even more. She's experiencing a delusional break, he said softly. She genuinely believes something happened that didn't. She's not acting out of malice. She's acting out of fear she can't differentiate from reality. Mia sobbed quietly beside me. She'll need treatment, he continued. Monitoring, medication, therapy, and time. A lot of time. I nodded, even though my brain felt like it had shut down completely. My daughter wasn't a criminal. She was sick, and none of us saw it coming. The days after felt unreal, like we were living someone else's life. We visited Lily every day. Some days she talked to us, though her eyes stayed distant. Some days she refused to come out of her room. Some days she cried and apologized for things she only imagined. Mia healed slowly. The physical marks faded, but the emotional wounds linger. She told me she sometimes wakes up at night, thinking she still hears the basement door locking. I hold her through it, even when I'm also wide awake, haunted. The psychiatrist told us delusions feel as real as memories, that Lily wasn't choosing to believe lies. Her mind stitched fear into fact, and now, bit by bit, they're trying to help her separate the two. Yesterday was the first day she reached for my hand. I didn't mean to hurt Mom, she whispered. I just thought I was saving us. I cried harder than I have in years. We don't know what the future looks like. We don't know how long healing will take or whether she'll ever fully trust her own thoughts again. But we're not giving up. Not on her. Not on us. Some nights, when the house is too quiet, I still catch myself glancing at the basement door. But then I remind myself, the door isn't what haunts me. It's the moment I realized my daughter was drowning in a world only she could see, and I almost didn't catch her in time.